Hello students, and here we go into week 6, and we'll be in chapter 5 of Kang's book. But first I want to again comment on the work and efforts you are putting into class. I have said before, and I'm saying again, this is the best group of students that I've had in Self and Social Identity in Christianity. And I have been teaching it for about 5 years, probably 2 or 3 times a year. So you are to be complimented, and that showed up again as you processed experiences that you have had. Thank you so much for doing the work of the processing in detail that you did and how that communicated to me, and I know to our classmates. It really, especially those of you that had to stop and think, you might have acted one way in the flesh, but you really worked hard and communicated how Christ would want you to communicate. And I think that says volumes. And so I thank you so much for processing as you did. As I said, we're going into chapter 5 of Kang's book. And in this one, you're going to be coming up with an ecosystem. And that I know you'll need to read the chapter to kind of see, put that in context. But you'll be thinking about, if you're going to apply for a position or a job, who is your target audience? Who are you aiming that toward? A human resources department, an elder board? Who would you be sending your information to? So figure that out first, and you can use either your current position, or you can use one that you think you might want to go for in the future for that. And then you'll start with yourself in a pie-shaped wedge, and you'll be right at the bottom, and you'll think about who are the circles of people that you will communicate with about that. Your inner circle, your close friends and family, and next maybe your church family, and then so on to where it'll be a less connected group that you're communicating to. It might be social media at the top. It might be organizations that you're a member of at the top, people that might not know you as well. So look through the chapter and put yourself in the place of someone looking for a job, and who do you need to communicate with? Make that a large circle, not just a friend, and then you send your resume in, but who will you communicate that to so that you can be supported and might, you might talk with people who would be helpful in you refining the way that you would do that. Maybe it's a group of pastors that you meet with, or a group of missionaries that you know, that will help you refine to think about how to apply for a job, for a particular job. So that's one thing. And then secondly, let's see, I'll go to the discussion board next. And on the discussion board for this week, because we're going to be looking at social media, you'll be, for one assignment, looking at your particular digital footprint. Where do you show up when you Google yourself? And what social media do you participate in? And then you'll write a 2-page paper discussing your digital footprint. It can be very small, it can be large, there's no right or wrong in that, but how do you view that for yourself? Is it the way you're coming across in your social media like you want to be coming across? Do you show your Christian commitment as you're coming across in your social media? The articles that you are going to read this week are in the resources. Then it will give you some food for thought about how people present themselves in social media, and how it's easy to present a face or not something that's completely truthful sometimes, or life is all good, it's all rosy, and that is not really true. So that's one thing that you'll be looking at, is the social media, and writing a 2-page paper and doing your discussion board on that too. One thing I wondered if we could do this week, I wanted to call your attention to the Global Cafe, and that is an area where you can post prayer requests, and I think a couple of you have done that, John and Steve, and we're Those of us that have noticed that are praying for you and the needs that you and your family have at this time. I wonder if this week on the Global Cafe you could put a couple sentences about what your sermon was on Sunday. For some of you, that was a sermon you delivered, and maybe for some of you, one that you listened to, or maybe you taught a Sunday school class. What was the scripture that you used, and maybe a couple sentences about what the subject matter was for that. So I'll put a first one on, and then if others of you can join in, I think that'd be great. I think anytime we can have our attention drawn to certain scriptures or to subjects that are relevant right now for us, it would be a positive for us. All right? So that's what we have lined up for this week. I'm going to check my page right here to see if there's anything else. I don't see anything else. And so onward, here we go, week 6, and you're doing well. Thank you very much. See you later.